The ocean spirit dances today to abundance and joy and to eternal peace.
See, this is what we're hoping for. This is part of our hope. Not only that we are members of the elect with fruits meet for repentance, like John the Baptist said, but from our low estate, because we've been brought low, even though we have this knowledge, we have this truth. Remember what it said in Revelation. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Why are we rich? Because we're rich in faith. We have this knowledge. So our hope is at our last end, we're going to be increased. Okay? And if you ask me, the greatest riches right now is to be delivered by Yahushua, is to get that new body that the Apostle Paul spoke about in 1 Corinthians 15th chapter, to get that. Get that new body where we'll never be sick, we'll be immortals, like it said in 1 Corinthians 15, to be delivered from the coming destruction, and to be a part of Yahushua's cabinet in the next kingdom. Okay? Those are the real riches right now. That's what we want to get. Because if you got everything. Okay? So our sights are set a lot higher than this present world. All right? As it is written, the fashion of this world shall pass away. We are individuals of vision. And the scripture said where an individual lacks vision, he perishes. Okay? So we can see the future. All right? And we hope that we're going to be part of it, beginning with the elect.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Makak Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of TMS for rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the whole elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Makak Kodash. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lady, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right, and we're going to get into dealing with this morning news and prophecy, dealing with the lying wonder, all right, and the real reason for AI, all right, because we know that the devil, that the scriptures call, the serpent, he's more crafty than any beast of the field. Okay, this man is very crafty, when it comes to wickedness. Okay, but now the Lord, has lifted the standard in the spirit, to where you have a remnant that's walking in the light and is able to call this man out. That's why the Lord, he put emphasis on us, being watchmen in these latter days, because through the Holy Spirit, as we have this understanding, we have this clarity, we have this light, where we're able to watch and clearly see what the devil is doing. Okay. Matter of fact, let's get to some precepts because the scriptures put emphasis, on watchmen. All right. When you go to let's go here to the book of Isaiah 52. Okay. And 8. And it says, Thy watchman shall lift up the voice. Okay. And this is what we're seeing now. This is prophecy. Okay, that the Lord will set a watchman to lift up the voice. Okay, to sound the alarm of what's going on. All right, and the masses are going to be deceived by these lying wonders. Okay, because most people, what they believe AI is for, that's not what it's for. Okay, it's a control system being set up. Okay, but he's selling AI as if it's just going to be for this recreational use, and you're going to be able to hire AI employees and not have to pay employees. You can just subscribe to certain AI software, and you can hire and create employees. You can have a business to where your overhead is cut down, the work is done faster, and you have to deal with, all these different personalities. The AI just, does exactly what it says. It can work 24 hours and so forth and so on. It's one big marketing pitch, as if AI was made for consumer use. Well, as we're watching, we're seeing, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Okay, there's things that's not adding up. Okay, so as the scriptures, spoke about Isaiah 52:8, thy watchmen shall lift up the voice. With the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion, because the Lord is getting ready to end the captivity of his people. Okay, so at the end of this thing, the Lord has the wicked being exposed right before he's judged. And the Lord will set a watchman, man, because we're watching for the end of Esau, which is the beginning, okay, of our kingdom. Esau's destruction is our deliverance. So we watch, all right, the signs leading to the destruction and the judgment, because it leads to what? Our deliverance, man. We're going to see eye to eye. We're going to be in those chariots with Yahweh, man. And we're going to see eye to eye our Redeemer. You see? So let's go from there, because all throughout the scriptures let's go here. Matthew 26, okay, and 41. This is Yahweh Shah speaking. Matthew 26 and 41. It says, watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Okay? So we're commanded by our King Yahweh Shah to watch as well as pray. And prayer is heavy in these times as well. Okay, because we need to be very familiar with our power going into this time, man. We need to really tap into their relationship with Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai in these times, man, through prayer. Okay, so you go into this word, watch, because we're watching these things happen, man. We're praying for the downfall of this place. We're praying that the Lord have mercy on his remnant. Okay. Hey, we're praying for deliverance, man. We want to see the kingdom established. We want to see this place destroyed, man. You see, constantly putting curses up on this place, man. Okay. Pray to be in the right mind. Pray to stay humble. Pray, So you go into this word, watch.
Strong's G 1127. Gregareo.
Okay. It says to watch. It says to give strict attention, to be cautious, to be active. Okay. To give strict attention to, man. So we're commanded to give strict attention to these things that we see happening and report on them, man. We're commanded to do these things. You see, some going to do more than others. All right. But we all been given, a lot. All right. Which contains, being a watchman, man. Okay. It said to take heed, least through remission and indulgence. Okay. Some destructive calamity suddenly overtake one. Okay. And a lot of people are going to be taken by a destructive calamity suddenly. Okay. Because they're not in the loop of what's happening. Okay. As the scriptures speak about, because, victuals shall be so good, cheap on earth, they shall think of themselves in good case. But even then shall evils grow upon the earth, famine, sword, and destruction. Okay, so people that are not watching, they're not seeing the evils that are growing upon the earth. Okay, and as the Lord has us on our watch, we're seeing these things in progress, man. Okay, well, most people are oblivious, okay, to the reality, all right, of what's unfolding in the earth. Okay, most people are distracted, don't give a damn. Okay, they're in this, this false reality of Esau, Edom. Okay, so they're not taking heed, and then it's gonna be it's gonna seem like a sudden destruction to most, man. But we're watching these things build up, because the Lord's put the Spirit on us what to give strict attention to be cautious, to be active. Okay, and one thing that the devil has going as we go here. All right, 2 Thessalonians, getting straight to the point. 2 Thessalonians 2:9. Okay. I started 8. It says, and then shall the wicked be revealed. Okay, and there's people that still have no idea who's the wicked. Okay, like those people that's marching in Senatobia, protesting outside the Walmart in Senatobia, Mississippi. Well, here it is. They'll march about the injustices, but when you go and try to break down who the wicked is to our people, they get offended. You see? So the wicked is being revealed, but like I said, only the elect is taking heed. Okay, and the Lord had this man wide open. Esau is exposed. He's open. He's been dismantled. Everything that this devil is doing is being broken down, explained, investigated. You know, that inquisition is being made on the wicked, man. Okay, there's a major inquisition being made on this guy, which is a thorough investigation. He's revealed. You see? So when judgment goes forth, no one can say, well, I wasn't warned. No, he was thoroughly warned about this nigga, man. It says, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. You see? So we're watching Esau being consumed with the spirit of the mouth of the Lord, which is the prophets. You see? Because it's not us, it's the power of the Lord that's flowing through us. We're vessels. All right, tools being used by the Heavenly Father on the right-hand side. And oh, what a privilege that is, to be a tool, a vessel used by Yahweh by Shema Shah, man. You know, that's a whole nother topic. Okay, it says, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Okay, which is the coming of Yahweh Shah. Because it's all a build up to the coming of Yahweh Shah to shut this BS down that this nigga got going, man. Okay, Esau got a lot of wickedness and a lot of BS, a lot of tackiness, okay, that's going to be destroyed at the coming of Yahweh Shah, man. 2 Thessalonians 2:9, it says, even him whose coming is after the work of the Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, man. And let's go into the word lying wonders. Okay, so Esau comes in the energy of Satan, the adversary. All right, he's tapped in heavy on the left-hand side with the spiritual demon Satan. You know, he's fully bowed down and worshiped Satan. Okay, as Satan came to Yahweh Shai and offered him a sellout package. Yahweh Shai, like, nigga, I'm good. Just to sum it up. You see, I'm good. You see, and Lord, we're in that same spirit as we come down the clips. But a lot of people are getting ready to bend the knee to Satan, man. Okay, you know, through Esau. All right, now you go into that word working, it goes into energia. All right, which you get energy. All right, because he comes in the spirit of Satan. Okay, you get the word working, who's working is after the Satan.
Strong's G 1753. Energia.
Energia, all right. It says working, efficiency. Okay, efficiency. You know, this devil moves and operates in the spirit of Satan. Okay, and you go here, it says efficiency, it says energy, operation. So this devil, he operates in the energy of Satan, man. Okay, that's the source of Esau's power is through Satan on the left-hand side, which also is the Most High. All right, using this man, okay, for his assignment. Esau has assignment on the left-hand side. And that's why there's particular things that he's able to pull off. He has access and capability, okay, to complete his assignment on the left-hand side, man. Okay, but with this tacky, all right, pathetic attempt to be the Most High. So you go into the word lion, which goes into
Strong's G 5579. Pseudos.
All right, which goes into a lie. All right, you go into the word pseudos. Okay, it says conscious and intentional falsehood. Okay, so this man, all right, is pushing intentional falsehood. Okay, he's not being sincerely wrong. You know, no, he's intentionally pushing falsehood. You see, it says of perverse and pious, deceitful precepts, man. Okay, and this man's rulership is riddled, you know, with him just lying about every goddamn thing, man. You know, going to this man's rulership is based on this man just lying about every goddamn thing. You see, and he exaggerates on things, man. Okay, to push off his agenda, because in order for this man's system to operate, he needs people to believe a lie. Okay, the truth exposes this devil, man. Okay, his kingdom can't operate in truth. The only way Esau's kingdom can function and continue to go forward is if it's based off a lie, man. Okay, so let's go from there. I want to start off with this first video, because they've been going hard body on AI, man, the fraud of AI. Okay, because as this man push, all these great things that AI is going to do, well, none of it is coming to fruition. Okay, and we have to understand that this AI is not meant for consumer and recreational use. Okay, it's going to be used for a control grid. That's why so much infrastructure is going up. Okay, the infrastructure is not going up. Okay, this AI infrastructure is not going up for you. Okay, to have a picture of Shaggy. Okay, in a young nigga outfit. Michael Jackson, doing trap rap, trap soul. You see? Nah, man, this is for a control grid. All right, they're just letting people get familiar, okay, getting addicted to the AI, okay, to reel you in. Okay, it's part of a snare to reel you into this control grid, man. Okay, those that survive the chaos. So let's play this.
Welcome, Ed.
Thank you for having me.
You've been an AI skeptic for a while, which as have I been, and I'd love you to talk about sort of where we are at this moment with AI.
So a very hysterical moment for the industry. They have spent years promising that this stuff would become this autonomous panacea for every capitalist, every job, it would do all these things. In reality, what we've got is something that can generate some code sometimes that can do a poor man's Google search and costs more than anything has ever cost in the world, ever. It is larger. It is 10, 15 times the size of Amazon Web Services as far as costs go. $1 trillion plus already invested. They're planning to invest trillions of dollars more. Data centers being built for demand for AI compute that doesn't exist. And the two largest companies, OpenAI and Anthropic, lose billions of dollars. Every single AI startup is unprofitable, and none of it resembles any previous era. People will say, oh, well, Amazon Web Services lost a lot of money. $53 billion over 10 years, actually 11 years. Uber lost a lot of money, $32 billion over 5 to 6 years, then they became profitable. OpenAI, they lost $21 billion in 2025. These companies burn money, they have no path to profitability, and the actual underlying technology, large language models, no one can prove the actual return on investment. No one can do it. It's not measurable. And so everyone's very hysterical right now. They're making bigger claims. They're claiming it's too scary to release Mythos, which has now been banned, kind of as a result of that, which I'm sure we'll get into. Long and short of it is we're in the crazy time. We're in the irrational exuberance, but there's a much more desperation than I think than during the great financial crisis.
Well, we haven't gotten to the crisis yet. So, or we got to the spending, but not the crisis. So when I talk to people about AI, what they say to me is they say it's getting better and better and better. And so it's in a process of getting better, and it will get so much better that eventually its betterness will get better, right? That it'll be a sort of infinite loop of smartness that will get itself smarter, that will continue. Is there any truth to that?
To be clear, when they say better, AI models are measured on benchmarks specifically made for large language models, because you can't really rely on them to do real tasks. You can't just be like, go and do my job, because they don't do that. They are generative models that create text or images in some cases, and they can sometimes do Excel spreadsheets. But the thing is, when I say sometimes, it's because of this inherent thing called hallucinations, because these models are probabilistic. Even at their most complex level, what they're doing is working out what the most likely thing they're meant to do is. They don't have consciousness, they don't think. So those hallucinations are when they authoritatively state something or do something that isn't true or the ideal action. Long story short is, getting better is not something that anyone's able to measure in an ROI sense, in a return on investment sense. They can write code. The code might work, the code might not work. But code is a much more complex thing than just thing that does thing and then program happens. It is, especially for larger companies, a long-term project which needs to be read by other people, needs to be understood by other people. It's meant to have some degree of commentary that tells you why it was built. Except you're writing this code using an LLM with no intention, with no thoughts. This eventually becomes cumbersome. It becomes over-verbose, just meaning there's a lot of code and it doesn't need to be. And also, the more you use a large language model as a software engineer, the less you know about writing software, the more dependent you become on it.
Hey, I need to launch a campaign in 2 weeks. Let's see.
This doesn't mean that it's writing good code. It just means you, as a person, are less able to write it yourself.
Yeah, so another thing too, with this AI, it has people going through what they call cognitive diminishment, okay, to where they're less capable, to do tasks without the AI, and that makes it seem like AI is getting better, all right, which AI, like I say, it has this, because it's a wonder, you see, so it's able to do certain tasks, it's able to do certain tasks real good, all right, but then there's a lot that it can't do, okay, and that's when this nigga starts to turn into a lion wonder and exaggerates on what it can do, what it will be able to do, okay. How it's going to get infinite smart and it's going to be God-like. And see, that's when he starts to lie. Okay, like I said, the AI can do particular things. Okay, and it gets better at particular things. Okay, but this infinite, level up, he makes it seem like AI has this trajectory to just have this infinite level up, and he's lying. Okay, it's an algorithm. It works off probabilities, and eventually it tap out. It has limitations, man. We're seeing Esau deal with limitations. Now, like we said, this AI, the purpose of AI is not for consumer use. It's for a control grid, okay? But he needs this narrative that AI is going to be so big and so great to gaslight people into believing that the only way to, exist with this ever-evolving AI is to merge with technology, okay? So he's gaslighting, people with this AI as if, you're going to be light years behind if you don't merge. The brain chip is going to give you, superhuman and super cognitive, telepathy and all, See, so he gaslighting, to make it seem as if, you're not going to measure up to AI, okay? So you're going to have to merge, to stay relevant as a human. Okay, that's another narrative that he's running with. Okay, so play a little more of this.
So you'll notice that I'm only mentioning code, and that's because it's okay with code. There are a guy called Carl Brown from the Internet of Bugs describes it well as makes the easy things easier and the harder things harder. Very simple things it can do. The problem is with large language models is they're not very good at anything. You can't. There are not many jobs that are just text. They're not good at writing. You've got a lot of slop on Substack as a result. They've really eroded the quality of Substack. But large language models are not good at jobs. They're not good at deterministic actions or a replicable one. They're not really good at anything, which is why no one seems to be able to actually show any proof that they're replacing jobs or that they're good at something. You hear a lot of ephemera being like, oh, it's right. Spotify's CEO said, oh, our best coders are not writing any code anymore. You'll notice that doesn't result in better software, more stable software across the board. Use any app. Everything feels less stable. Everything feels more brittle. And that's partly because of AI and partly because the companies themselves don't really care anymore. So you can't really do things with AI, despite all the promises, despite all the data centers.
Okay, so this story is cybersecurity executives urge the Trump administration to ease restrictions on Anthropic. Can you explain what is happening with Anthropic and why that has, is that just partisan or is that they're actually cooking something up?
So to explain, rolling back a few years, 2023, both Sam Altman of OpenAI, Dario Amodei of Anthropic, both were saying, oh, our models are too scary. They're too powerful. They're too scary. They've spent years building this up. Anthropic, particularly nasty about this. Dario Amodei, of course, saying that 50% of white-collar jobs would be eliminated in a few years. The reason I mention that is back in April, they announced something called Mythos, a new model that they claimed was too powerful to launch because of its cybersecurity capabilities. Now, independent researchers have now said, no, it's not. It's good. It's good at finding some things. It has a lot of false positives, meaning it claims there's a bug when there isn't. But putting all that aside, Anthropic said it's too powerful. We have to meter it out. Only a few trusted organizations. A month later, they're like, okay, we're giving it to 150 more organizations. Then in early June, I believe, they announced something called Fable. Now,
Okay.
Claude Fable was Mythos, but you couldn't do any cybersecurity on it. If you asked, it refused. It would drop down to another model. A few days ago, a week, I think, before this podcast will go out, there was an announcement that by Anthropic saying we've had to cut access to Fable and cut access to Mythos due to the government putting export controls on them, because the government was told by Amazon CEO Andy Jassy that apparently it was possible to jailbreak Fable. So by which I mean tell Fable something to give you the power of Mythos.
Right.
Semaphore reported that maybe China got access. It's not clear. So what happened? Maybe partisan. It may.
And like I said, this whole thing, like government stepping in and regulating AI, it's all false, man. And they need that hype of that they got this scary, uncontrollable AI. Okay, they can't be controlled. It's just gonna take over and Skynet everything. Okay, they need that narrative to get people, all right, to to get people to have fear of this technology. Okay, and instead of rejecting it, they want people to embrace it. So they're like, well, look, we're going to regulate it, okay, to where it doesn't get out of hand, all right, and we're going to merge you with it, okay, so that if anything does get out of hand, well, guess what? You'll be upgrading with the technology, okay. Now, he mentioned two, in which that's the end of that video. We'll go to another one to go into what's really happening with this AI, all right, going into the infrastructure. Now, he mentioned two, okay, Claude has a Fable AI, okay, and you go into that word Fable, what does Fable mean? It's called Fable AI, okay, falsehood, fictitious, this is an Edom line for Fable, falsehood, fictitious narrative, a lie, a pretense, okay, a story, all right, a tale, play, fiction, a lie, falsehood, okay. So this is nothing but a falsehood, man. It's a lie. It's a pretense. You see, it's fictitious what the devil is saying that this AI is going to be able to do, man. Okay, there's no coincidence he's calling it Fable AI, artificial intelligence, man. Okay, it's called artificial. Okay, let's get it. Let's get this word artificial. It's called artificial intelligence, man. God damn. It says not natural or spontaneous. Okay. It says a work of art, a skill, a theory, a system, all right, a craftsman, artist, because it's what? This is nothing but an idol. Okay. They can do more than the dumb idols of old, but ultimately still it's a souped up dumb idol, man. Okay. It says a master of art. Okay. You see, it's a souped up dumb idol. All right, the meaning made by man, contrived by human skill and labor. The word was applied, all right, from 16th century to anything made in imitation of or as a substitute for what is natural. Okay? The meaning, fictitious, not genuine. Okay? Fictitious, not genuine. And then you have, all right, you had one that was called Mythos. Okay, I think that was OpenAI, or I forgot the other AI company, but yeah, let's go into the word Mythos. I'm gonna just quick Google, look up what Mythos means. Okay, Mythos, man, just like these false gods with all these myths surrounding these different guys. It's the same thing with this guy, man. Okay, mythos is a noun that refers to a set of myths, a traditional story, an overreaching system of beliefs values, and lore characteristics of specific culture, society, and the fictional universe, man. Okay? So this devil, you know, the way he hypes up AI to what it can do and what it's gonna be doing by this year and that year is fictional, man. Okay, now this man is able to use this AI, and it's gonna be very destructive. All right, when he uses this, all right, and he opens up on citizens, man. Okay, and you know it's efficient when it comes to surveillance. Okay, when it comes to tracking. Okay, it's flawed. All right, everything the devil does is flawed. Okay, but it's sufficient in the control system. Okay, but all this, you know, the mystical, magical, you know, uh, unlimited, you know, power and nah, man, limited as hell, man. All right, AI is limited, man. Okay, and it's going to be put to use for a control system, man, not for running, doing all the jobs of people. No, okay, it's gonna govern people. Okay, AI governance. It can do certain jobs. It can do certain tasks. It can do things. Okay, but this a lot of this stuff is hype and fictition, man. You see, myths. You see, so let's go from there. Let's get this video here dealing with so let's go here. And this is what AI is being rolled out for. Okay, for this. Okay.
And you thought they just wanted to read your license plate and track your time and location. Have you not stopped to ask yourself why the sudden push for all these massive data centers? A 40,000 square acre facility? Really? Just because you think they want to help you build a better resume, produce your own movies, and generate eye-catching memes? You really think they're building these technological behemoths to benefit us, do you? Well, maybe we need to discuss the Signal Trace intelligence system, because according to its company's creator, Leonardo, they don't want to just track your license plate and find out if your registration's up to date and if you got plenty of insurance for that next accident. They want to suck you dry of all the information that's aboard that vehicle at that location, at that time, and for their benefit, not yours. Most people haven't even heard of this major surveillance technology provider called Leonardo through its US ELSAG or LSAG division. It's upgrading automatic license plate readers or ALPRs with sensors that do far more than just photograph your plate, check insurance and registration status, or flag vehicles. This new system called Signal Trace passively sweeps up unique identifiers from mobile phones, Bluetooth wearables like your smartwatch, fitness tracker, or wireless headphones, even your vehicle system like your tire pressure sensors, your infotainment console, your playlist, your navigation history. This technological vacuum cleaner even sucks up your Wi-Fi hotspots. And, maybe Fido's on board your car while you're traveling from place to place. Well, they're going to collect your pet's data too, because if they have an RFID tag, like pet microchips, and even key.
See that? And you best believe these pet microchips, were just a test run. Okay, to have something to build the system around. So they push those pet, RFID microchips, okay, to your pet for the sake of tracking. Well, guess what? You're the next thing that device is going into. Okay, so they're able to build these systems real time that's compatible with RFID technology, man. Okay, so they're able to just pick up on all these different devices, any digital device that you have, okay, that's able to go online, has some type of IP address or whatever, they're able to tap into it. Okay, so this is what AI is being built for. Okay, not to make your office job easier. Okay, that's a myth. That's fable. You see, but the true purpose of this AI, the true purpose of all this infrastructure and all this money that they're putting into it, because they're not, it's about control. You see, they're not worried about making a profit with AI. It's about a control system. Okay, they at least want this control system up and running so they can transition this system, man. They can go ahead and discard the old and bring in the new. Okay, and it's transitioning, man. You people are in a technocracy, man. Okay, no matter what you do in the midterm, it's not going to change the trajectory, all right, of the elites rolling out this technocracy. So let's play a little more of this.
Cards. Oh, they're getting that information too. This turns roadside ALPR cameras, which are already ubiquitous across the US on poles, patrol cars, and fixed locations, into sophisticated people tracking nodes. They don't want to just track your car. They don't want to just read your license plate. They want to know who's in your car with you at all times. And by correlating devices that, quote, regularly travel together, according to their website, with a specific license plate and timestamp, Signal Trace built a persistent electronic fingerprint for vehicles and their occupants. Just take a look at Leonardo's own website and we'll get it straight from the horse's mouth. Identify suspects. Did you know you're a suspect to Leonardo and to law enforcement agencies all across the nation through the electronic devices they carry? Signal Trace is an advanced signal intelligence system that enhances traditional ALPR capabilities by detecting and correlating nearby electronic devices with vehicles of interest. And this isn't just for vehicles. If you're walking down the street and you come close to one of these cameras or readers and you're within range, they're going to extract your data, facial recognition, gait recognition technology, the kind of clothing you were, where you were, when you were there. It bridges license plate recognition data with sensor captured device identifiers, such as those from mobile phones, Bluetooth wearables, and vehicle systems to create a unique, trackable electronic fingerprint for investigative use. This means they're treating us all as suspects. And we, as suspects, are going to be surveilled by Signal Trace's systems. And it's going to be fed to a law enforcement database. If they suspect you might be suspicious, they reserve the right to treat you as a criminal. When multiple devices consistently move together within a vehicle, Signal Trace's algorithms link them to that vehicle's license plate and timestamp location data. This correlation provides investigators with another layer of actionable intelligence, even if a suspect changes or removes the plate. Remove the plate, no problem. We still got you. Oh, and it's secure, non-intrusive intelligence gathering. Signal Trace captures only publicly broadcast device frequency activity. I find that hard to believe. And it almost seems like they went out of their way to say this to throw people off the scent of the possibility that the opposite might be true. Maybe it captures.
The opposite is true. Might end. Okay, ain't no privacy. Okay, privacy's out the window. It's over with. Okay, everything is going digital. All right, and they're getting people digital footprint. Okay, and like I said, they still playing on on depopulation. Okay, and this is the system that they want in place as they depopulate and present. Okay, this device. Okay, this pseudo salvation. Okay, is the solution. Okay, so yeah, they're just making everything trackable. Okay, this whole system is about making everything trackable real time. Okay, and being able to control, control your money. Okay, control your access to, everything through what. All right, because then they going to that social credit. Okay, with this social credit system, is going to be it's going to be another level of behavior modification. Okay, to where you have to behave a certain way to have access to society. Okay, to have access to the essentials. Okay, So let's play a little more.
Private device frequency activity as well. It does not decrypt or store any content from devices or communications. Of course, we don't have that kind of technology. And even if we did,
That's why they're bringing this data center storage. Okay, they want to store everything. They want to. So this is the devil trying to be the Most High. Okay, they want to have, they want to know every event in the past, present and future. He's trying to be, he is, man. Okay, and the Lord's going to show this nigga that he's not. Okay.
we wouldn't be doing that. It functions like a license plate reader by capturing identifiers without accessing personal or message data. That is BS. Here's how it works. It captures license plate, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, wireless, AirPods, what's on your device's onboard computer, including your tire pressure. Hey, maybe your oxygen sensor is going out. Maybe you modified your electronic vehicle in some way and it's illegal, and the authorities will be alerted for that. Maybe you got a playlist that they don't approve of. Maybe you're listening to political shows that they might want to ding you for on your social credit score when that gets implemented. Maybe you have a heart condition and it's recorded on your watch, or you're not sleeping properly, so that sends a message to your car. Maybe you shouldn't operate today until he gets a good night's sleep, according to his watch. And then God knows what they have access to on your cell phone. It says it works seamlessly with LSAG Enterprise Operations Center to integrate device data with ALPR intelligence, identify suspects by the unique mix of devices they carry or use, links devices that regularly travel together, correlating them to license plates so they know who you hang around, how often you hang around them, and attach you possibly with any criminal history they may have that you're unaware of, recognizes vehicles by electronic fingerprint, even without a visible or correct plate. Aids in detecting gang movements, trafficking operations, and convoy patterns. Well, if that's true, then they're not implementing that on anybody in Washington's District of Criminals, or they would have already arrested that gang for all those gang movements and activities, and they would have already apprehended all the billionaire pedophiles that currently enjoy protection from the government. Stores device and correlation.
Yeah, because if with the technology that they boasting, there shouldn't be any missing children. There shouldn't be any XCX trafficking rings. Okay, PDF files and children being groomed. So why is this still going on? This devil has all this technology to do this tracking. Okay, here it is. They can find, Iranian general. They know what time he's coming home. What's for dinner. Okay, they know when he comes through the door. Okay, and then blow up the whole building, but then they can't find. All right, these other Epstein islands. All right, because it's not for that. It's for the track. All right, the Goyim, the masses. Okay, it has nothing to do with your safety. It has nothing to do with crime prevention. Okay, it's all about a control system, and this nigga trying to play the Most High. Okay,
data securely in the EOC for future queries and analysis. We're going to keep that for a long, long time. That's why we need to build these data/surveillance and infiltration centers. Increases coverage cost effectively by deploying sensors with or without co-located LPR cameras. So they don't even need the LPR cameras to detect where you are. Operates effectively in off-grid and non-traffic environments such as rail stations, event venues, and shopping centers. Did you get that? Operates effectively in off-road and non-traffic environments. So you're standing there at that event, you're going to a concert, and they're checking to see what you got on your phone, where you've been, who you've been with, when you were there. You're sitting in a rail or a bus station. They got you covered. Hey, mom, let's go to the mall and just walk around. Surely they're not extracting data from my smartwatch over there. This enables mass warrantless profiling of innocent people. The system creates durable digital profiles by linking recurring device signatures to plates, even if plates are swapped or obscured. A single drive past multiple cameras can map your movements, associations, and routines, revealing visits to medical clinics, places of worship, political events, or private homes. ALPR data alone has already been abused for stalking, immigration enforcement, and targeting protesters, not to mention jailing innocent people where AI technology got it absolutely wrong. Adding device IDs makes this vastly more invasive and persistent. And there's no opt out because it's passive collection. Our devices are broadcasting identifiers all the time through Bluetooth, MAC addresses, Wi-Fi probes, just by default. Signal Trace captures these identifiers without decrypting content or needing user interaction or permission. And like I said, it works in non-traffic areas. You don't have to be in your car. You can just be in a shopping center, a rail station, or buying a shirt at a Bon Jovi concert. And like they said, data is stored on Leonardo's Enterprise Operations Center for later analysis. Algorithms link co-traveling devices into profiles usable even without a visible license plate, potentially identifying people purely by their device signatures. And there's a broader.
And the C-HIP is just going to make that, much more convenient for them. To where they don't have to track all those devices at one time. Okay, it's just going to make it extremely convenient for them. Okay, to have your digital signature, all right, on this one small device that's inside you. Okay, so you can't change plates, or you can't leave your phone. You can't, go low tech. So that's a thing now. People are going low tech, getting away from, this technology, man. Matter of fact, let's see. People are trying to get away, from this technology. There's no tech. All right. So yeah, let's go here. Because people are trying. That's why I'm saying this all plays into the devil. Know what he have but a short time. Okay, so when you go here, it says yes. I asked, is low tech trending? There's people stepping away from technology. It says yes, low tech is a major cultural and consumer trend driven by widespread desire to escape constant connectivity, digital addiction, and algorithmic fatigue. While high tech AI advances, a tech resistance has emerged, centering on analog living and simpler tools. Okay, so you have this movement of what you call low tech living. Okay, where people are stepping away from technology, man, especially as AI get more invasive. Okay, so what is the devil going to do? Well, look, they're going to put this device in you. Ain't no getting out of this, man. Okay, you're going to need this to operate in this beast system. Okay, and that's what he's going to push. But we know the Lord promised that we was going to be okay anyway, man. All right, but this plays a part. People going low tech into the devil. But a short time he got to come on, man. Okay, because people are starting to step away from where things are headed. Okay, so he's gonna have to start making moves. Okay, and to close up their trap. Okay, he's gonna have to create desperation to close their trap up, man. Isaiah 47:1, it says, matter of fact, I'm gonna get to the point. We'll jump down. Okay, this Isaiah 47:8 said, therefore hear now, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that says in thy heart, I am. And this begins with the elites, the kings of Babylon. All right, the rich man. Now you have people, in America with this spirit, living carelessly. Okay, enjoying, the convenience of this, society and technology. Okay, but ultimately Esau, Edom, these elites, they have the spirit of what I am. It says in his mind, I am. And only the Most High can make that statement, I am. Okay, and none else beside me. So he's exactly quoting the mind of the Most High. He's acting like he's the Most High. Okay, the Most High made this statement. Okay, when you go to matter of fact, the previous chapter. Okay, this Isaiah 46:9. Remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me. And this is how Esau trying to do, man. This is what Esau is trying to imitate. He's trying to say that he is. Okay, this is the only the Most High can make that statement. I am, which goes into his name. All right, he is. All right, Yahweh, he exists. He is to be. Okay, so when you go into Isaiah 47:8, it said, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, and one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, man. Okay, these lying wonders, man. Okay, these enchantments, these. Okay, this man has a lot of people, enchanted with this technology, man. With these lying wonders, man. People, really look at this man like he's, some all-knowing, all-powerful entity, man. Through this technology, man. Okay, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it have perverted thee, because the Lord has given this man particular access. Okay, and he's puffed up. The script say knowledge puffeth up. Well, there's no one that's puffed up like Esau due to, the access and the capabilities that the Most High has allowed him to tap into on the left-hand side. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it out. So all this technology and all this boasting and how powerful and how all-knowing he is. Well, guess what? The Lord is going to bring mischief on him, and he's not going to be able to put it off. He's not going to know, how to deal with the judgment that's getting ready to come. Okay? He's not going to be able to predict, how the Lord is going to do his ass, man. You see, it says, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know, man. That's just the Lord making mockery of the devil, showing he's limited, man. Okay, because he boasting being all-knowing. The Most High gonna show this nigga that he's not all-knowing, man. Okay, that he's limited, okay, and regular as hell, man. You see, on the way out, the Most High is gonna show us how regular this nigga is, man. Okay, so that was the point. Just wanted to tap into that, Lord will, y'all brothers. All right, and you few sisters were edified once again. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example towards our brothers, and peace and blessings, salutation, and hope for the Shalom.